you something to pack a lot of papers. Yeah. Stuff going on. Not too good. We tried to put that behind us and watch the stage from Mexico to try to take a breather. And that was good.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Hardest stuff.
But I think I spent a bunch of highs and lows. Roller coaster ride.
Let me see. Did you say?
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
All right, we are back. We're live on a new YouTube feed, and I'm going to introduce Dave Emanuel, who I'm sure most, if not all of you know very well. He'll take us through the evening, and I will be timer and assisting as well. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's good to see everyone again, and I know a number of you were with us last night for the annual Stratham School District meeting, and I appreciate you supporting democracy in New Hampshire, especially here in hometown. Our first panel, we wanted to invite up the Town of Stratham School District positions. Sean, Shane, Kathleen, and Sophie. And then if you'd like to, whether you join us at one table or two tables.
Would it be easier if they were here with you? Or
Whatever, I'm happy, I'll go wherever you guys are, it's all good.
you guys choose?
Okay.
I know this is a social experiment. I'll grab a chair.
Yeah, we'll go on this side, you guys can go on this side.
Oh, right.
Or yeah, should we all be together?
Well, let's all be
All
together.
right, let's
Some
be cozy
solidarity
here.
here, right? And I guess what our goal was to give each of you an opportunity to share where you're coming from, what you're looking at, what your goals and objectives are. And I know that we had tentatively talked about a minute and a half, but why don't we go for why don't we double our time tonight? Because we have time. So would you share with us your thoughts in 3 minutes-ish or less? And then we'll entertain questions. Does that work for you, Steve?
That's great, and I'll call time when it's done.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean.
I appreciate it. I'll try to fill 3 minutes. I actually want to be respectful of everyone's time so we beat the storm here. But I'll speak a little bit about myself and what I'm doing up here on this stage in front of all you folks. So my name is Sean Dempsey. I moved to this wonderful town of Stratham in 2020 in the heart of COVID. It was a fun time for my wife and I to move in because we would knock on our neighbors' doors and like, hey, we're your new neighbors, and like, stay away. So it was a fun time to move, but we have never been more welcomed, in a more serious note, to a community than to Stratham, New Hampshire. It's a beautiful town, beautiful people. We feel so loved and appreciated here, and we just are so. My daughter, my wife, and I are just so passionate about the area, having been here for such a short time. So it's because of that love of this town that I want to run for school board. So my daughter is 9 years old. She'll be 10, double digits. It's a little scary as a father. I don't know if anyone here has kids as well. I assume most of you do. And so I wanted to basically put myself in a position where, I guess a little bit about myself, I should start with that as well. I've been a local entrepreneur and business owner for the last 20 years in New Hampshire. I've lived everywhere from Dover, Somersworth, and now Stratham. I work as CFO for several of my organizations and other organizations, and so I have a very strong business and budget background. So I did apply a lot of that skill set and was part more recently of the school budget advisory committee. Thought that was a really engaging position. I shared that role with Shane here as well. And I learned a tremendous amount, and I wanted to basically use my knowledge of business and budget and see if I can help in any ways possible on the financial side of the school budget. That's my primary focus. Well, I should say that's my secondary focus behind what's doing best for the students of which are in the school. So I really have a passion for education. I want to make sure that the funds and the time and commitment of the school goes to bettering and enriching the lives of the students. And I'm a little less inclined to seeing as much money go to the administration and sort of the ad hoc elements of education. I really want to see strong education. I want to see strong teacher salaries. I want to see strong merits of educational wellness. So that's a passion for me. And then again, my budgetary and business background, I think, lends itself well to trying to, honestly, I'm one of the geeks who want to get into the budget line by line and just tear it apart and find ways of finding opportunities, finding enhancements, and making what is already great even better. So that's a little bit about me and what my goals are this year. How did I do on time?
250, perfect.
Good shot. Thank you. Sophie.
Awesome, thanks Dave. Hi everyone, my name is Sophie Saltonstall, and I'm running for my second term on the school board. So I'll just give you three reasons why I think I deserve your vote. Number one, I've dramatically improved communications in my time on the board. When I started 3 years ago, there was really no transparency between the public and the school board. You had to go to 3-4 hour meetings or dig through notes to figure out like what were the important things for you as a community member. And I saw that, and I saw what problems were arising out of a lack of communication with the school board. So I started summarizing every meeting, and I give that to Karen at town, so she puts that in the town newsletter. It also goes out in the SMS PTO newsletter and then the SMS newsletter itself. So really trying to bring transparency into the community. And then I've also organized a number of fireside chats. So if I sense that a topic is controversial or the public has questions about something or something is coming up that needs a little bit more attention and detail and explanation, I'll organize a fireside chat that's open to the public so we can really dive into that topic in detail. And for the bond last year, I organized 6 presentations so that everybody had an opportunity to come who was interested in learning more about the bond and what that was going to mean and look like. So yeah, I've really increased communication and transparency in regards to what we're doing in the school board. So that's number one. Number two, I really try to take a balanced approach when it comes to the financial piece. So as I mentioned, I was on I co-chaired the building committee. And when we first got a quote from the company we were working with, it was $50 million for the building renovation. And we heard a lot from the community, and within the board, we were like, we can't do that. That's just way too much. That's not reasonable. What can we do? So we decided to kind of take a step back and try and think through like what's a more reasonable approach to this. So we got together a group of experts from Stratham, and they helped us really narrow down the focus. And through that, we brought the bond down to $12 million, which saved the average taxpayer in Stratham $12,000 over the course of the bond. So whenever possible, I try and save taxpayers' money. I'm very sensitive to that. You can look at my voting record and see that. I'm always trying to find creative ways to save taxpayers' money when it's possible. And then that kind of brings me to my third point. I really believe in public education. So I grew up in Stratham. I'm an SMS alum myself. I found my picture on the wall last night. And my mom is an SMS alum as well, and I have 3 kids that are about to enter the school system. So I'm really invested in the long-term health of the school, and I think every kid deserves the right to a fair education, regardless of gender, race, class, or ability. That's what makes America really awesome, that we all have an opportunity to a proper and good education. So really passionate about public education, and I've really enjoyed my past 3 years on the board and would be honored to serve another 3 if elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Peck. I am originally from New Hampshire. I graduated from Boston College and then served 4 years on active duty as an Army Nurse Corps officer. Then I spent 9 years in civilian healthcare in the Midwest. And then when my husband and I started having children, we moved back here, and I attended graduate school at Northeastern University. I have a master's in nurse anesthesia, and I practice anesthesia here on the Seacoast, mostly at Portsmouth Hospital. I have two children. They have both been at SMS since kindergarten. I have now a 6th grader. Sophie is no longer at SMS, but I have a 4th grader at SMS. So we have been really blessed to see the education here in Stratham. And one of the main reasons we bought in Stratham was because of the school district. For probably a couple of years, I wanted to get involved, and about 2 years ago, I was voted in as the school district clerk. I was a write-in, and that same year, I also served on the financial advisory committee, working on the budget. And then at the end of that year, there was an opening in the board, and I was appointed by the board to fill in that vacancy. And so for the past year, I've served on the school board with Sophie. When I was on the school board, I served as the representative for the superintendent committee, evaluation committee, and as secondary for the safety committee. And I can agree with Sophie that the past year we have really worked on transparency and communication and really getting out into the community and trying to be a good liaison for this community and working on explaining the hows and whys of federal and state law and how they affect us here in this town. I too, like Sophie, take a really balanced approach to the budget. If we are going to cut money, let's cut it fiscally responsibly and make sure that we're not affecting the classroom and we're not affecting the direct instruction of students. And we really took that to heart this past year when we were able to cut over $100,000 from the budget and not affect the direct instruction of students. So I would like to continue here on the board. I have really worked hard to personally learn about how the schools are funded and what laws affect our funding and our instruction and our policy within the schools. I have taken my own personal time and gone and met with Molly over in the superintendent's office to fully understand why we do the things that we do, and also how can we change things? How can we be more effective? How can we be more fiscally responsible? And so I'd like to continue that as well in the next 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shane O'Brien. I'm running for the one-year term seat on the SMS school board. I'm a lifelong New Hampshire resident. I'll give you a little background in case you didn't have a chance to see the questionnaire. I started my professional career volunteering for the U.S. Army in 2001, volunteering at the age of 17 after the events of September 11th. After serving for 6 years, I started my professional career in the technology sector, which I've been in now for just over 20 years. I've served in multiple roles in the technology sector, from both individual contributor type roles all the way up to leadership roles, where my past role was Chief Technology Officer for the company I work for. I've now moved into a global technology consulting role with my new company. My wife and I moved to Stratham just over 5 years ago when we had started having our family. We felt very strongly about the community of Stratham and the schools that were there, and felt like it would be the right place to raise our children. Since being in Stratham, I have 2 children now in SMS, a 2nd grader, a kindergartner, and one still to go who will be arriving there in 2 years. So we will be in the SMS community for quite some time. This past year, I had the privilege of serving on the Financial Advisory Committee for the SMS School Board and taking part in the budget creation and how we were able to shape that going into the vote for last night, which did pass after some of the changes that were made. And I feel a very strong duty to serve in our community as part of the school board, you know, having a voice for the children that attend the school, the teachers, and also the taxpayers. And representing how we can all come together as part of the community and doing what's best. I think, you know, seeing firsthand the effect that the school has had on my children and protecting that is very important to me, but also making sure that we do what's right for the town and for the community and for the taxpayers as well. But I believe in an inclusive environment for the children that are there, where they can start to build, a strong foundation for their lives moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Shane, sorry. Shane, I know, you get closer to Sean. At this point, we wanted to open the floor for a few minutes of questions. If anyone in the house had questions about the school board or about what each of the candidates is representing. Sir?
I'm not clear, how many positions are open?
That's a great question. There are, would you please just grab the mic and so they can hear on the television? The question was, how many positions are open on the school board?
No.
It's 2 positions are open for the 3-year term. So myself, Sean, and Kathleen are all running for 2 seats for the 3-year term. And then Shane is running unopposed for the 1-year term because one school member left early of his 3-year term. So Kathleen filled in for him, and then there's still 1 year left on his term. So that's that 1-year term.
You 3 are for the 3-year term?
The 3 of us, and there are only 2 seats.
2 positions, okay.
Yep, there's 1 seat for the 1-year term.
Okay.
He's running unopposed, and then the 3 of us are running for the 2 3-year seats.
So the ballot should say, vote for not more than 2. There'll be 3 names.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions for our school board candidates? Mr. Stevenson?
You mentioned, I think you mentioned, Shane, that there was a position paper, or did each of you fill out a position paper? Where are
Yeah,
those?
Seacoast Online.
The question was, is there a position paper for each of the candidates running for office?
Yes, you can, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If you visit the town hall website for the town of Stratham,
Oh, good.
you'll be able to see the candidate information for all of us that are there and any others that filled out the questionnaire.
Thanks.
Roger, thank you for the question.
What is, I'm sorry?
Thank you for the question.
Oh, you bet.
Please.
Sean, maybe I missed it. Do you have children in the school system, SMS?
Yes, I do. Well, I will next year. My daughter is 9 years old. She'll be 10. She's going into SMS. She's in charter school right now, but she'll be in SMS next year.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Mine's 13, watch out.
It's a very polite crowd tonight.
Yes.
Questions? Comments, concerns? Well, candidates, thank you very much for joining us. Audience, let the rest of the Either way, I think we're good. Thank you. So our next portion of the program, we had some Stratham candidates for other offices. And I think we want to start off, you have one to read for?
I'm going to give you the honor of reading the 2 statements.
John, why are you laughing? I know.
So this is Diane, and then we'll begin Judith.
Okay, beautiful. So the first we have is for candidate for cemetery trustee. It's a 3-year term, and we have a note and a statement for Diane Morgera, cemetery trustee candidate. Diane says, hello neighbors. Many of you already know me as I've lived in Stratham for 40 years, and I have been a participant in many activities. The Stratham Fair, the Historical Society, and town government, to name a few. When I served as trustee of the trust funds, I enjoyed giving back to the community. As a cemetery trustee, I would have the opportunity to use my knowledge of budgeting, financial management, and Stratham history as it applies to cemetery management for the town. I ask for your vote on election day, so please check the box next to my name. Thank you, Diane Morgera.
got a future in this.
Well, I had a long conversation with Diane this week, and it's all good. About something completely different. And next, we have Terry, who's running for the term, a 3-year term for library trustee.
It's actually Judith, who's also running for library trustee.
Well, yeah, Terry was next on the agenda. I'll read Judith's statement then. Just read it.
Yeah, Terry's here in person, so I just wanted you to read for
Okay.
Judith, who's not here.
I understand. I have a statement to read to you for Judith, who's not here. I'll tell you the rest of the story when we're on camera. Hello, my name is Judy Norton, and I'm running for the Library Board of Trustees. This is the first time I've run for office. I'm a retired teacher of 37 years, most of them at Greenland School. I am an active member of the Friends of the Library. The library is the social center of the town. It provides a place for young parents and children to meet. It gives teens a safe place to go, and it provides so many programs for adults. Our librarians are the heart of this. It's important to support them in as many ways as possible. Judy Norton.
You sure you don't want to keep doing that?
No, you're here. I'm not going to read the thing. Terry, come on up. The rest of the candidates, come on up. Last year, my oldest son worked his way, for those of you that weren't with us, sat in each of the chairs and read different stages. He gets it from his mother.
Where is he?
Terry, please.
He
Heather, you
said my name last time.
Okay.
He said my name pretty well last time. So I'd like to first just say I'm really impressed for everybody just not having anything written down. I have something written down, so I'm going to read it to Terry. Thank you for organizing this night. I'm Terry Grajava. I'm running for the library trustee position. I am currently a library trustee. I ran for the 1-year term last year, and before that I was an alternate. So now I'm running for the 3-year term, unopposed. I'm seeking this role because I want to give back to the community who has given me so much, to my family and to myself. The Wiggin Memorial Library has been an important part of our lives, from story times with my children to resources for their school projects. I raised 3 children in the SAU 16 school district, all 3 of them with SMS and CMS, and they enjoyed the library all of their time. From story time when they were in elementary school, to taking the after co-op CMS bus to the library to do their work, do their homework. The library trustees play an important role in supporting the library's success and long-term sustainability. We establish policies and provide oversight of library operations in collaboration with Steve, our library director. We help ensure the library continues to meet the evolving needs of our community. Trustees also oversee the library's finances. The trustees don't have their own budget. We support Steve with the operational budget to make sure that we align with the town. The library's mission to inspire readers, enrich lives, and create community strongly resonates with me as an avid reader. Books and stories spark imagination, encourage creativity, and help us understand perspectives beyond our own. The library truly is that third space, that third place that people go to for education, for engagement, and for experience, and to connect with our community members. As we look ahead, it's important we continue to listen to our community, listen to our staff who directly deals with our residents. If elected, I would work with patrons and staff to better understand the needs of our community through surveys, conversations, and community engagement. There are so many programs that span all the citizens at Stratham that are offered at the library, and I have to say, my kids experienced the library. I did not, until I had the opportunity to step away from work and be able to really focus on the library in the town. I believe our library plays a vital role in strengthening our town by supporting literacy, lifelong learning, and community connection. And I would be honored to continue to serve as a library trustee. What's my time?
2:30. You're doing
All
great.
right. Okay.
Thank you, Terry. Sure. Ted, you're next on the list.
There you go.
Good evening, Mark. Thanks for coming. My name is Ted Tramoloni. I am running for a position on the select board. I came to New Hampshire in the mid-'80s to take a job at New Hampshire Public Television, and I've lived in Stratham since 1991, so I've been around for quite a while. I served on the Budget Advisory Committee for 3 years, starting in 2023. You probably know that the Budget Advisory Committee is a group of town residents that come together in January to hear budget presentations and then give insights and input to the board as they set up the budget that you guys will all vote on at town meeting. That experience gave me some insights into how this town is run and how it's financed, which is really important. But it also, more importantly, allowed me to work with a terrific select board and to really get to know some of the great people that work for our town. The department heads, the staff, and some of the volunteers. It's been a great experience, it really has. So I think it's legit to say, well, okay, so what does that mean? Why are you running after all that, right? So one of the reasons that I'm running is because I've long felt that a good community, a thriving community, is directly proportional to the number of people that take part in running that community. That's one of the reasons when I started serving on the budget committee. So when select board member Houghton decided not to run for re-election, I thought, you know what, it's time to put my money where your mouth is. Why don't you run? So that's why I'm running. I hope that my experience in managing, in serving on technical committees, in the broadcast industry, in sales, and in marketing, and all of those sorts of things will give me the opportunity to provide some input to the board as I move forward, and I look forward to providing a positive impact, making a positive impact as we move forward. So thanks very much.
Kathy, next on the agenda.
I'm going to need to put my cheaters on. Good evening. My name is Kathy Warner, and I've been a resident of Stratham since 1989. When I don't do a lot of public speaking, as you can tell. When I moved here from Chicago with my husband John and our 2 children, who are now in their 40s. So. But they did go through the Stratham Memorial School system and the SAU through high school, and then went on to college and other places. For 20 years, I was a primary teacher in Stratham Memorial School. And I taught kindergarten, first grade, second grade, a 1-2 class. I looped first to second grade, so I did a lot of various things there with children, very young children. When I retired, I knew that I wanted to continue to be active in the community, because I really do feel it's important. I've been a volunteer at the Great Bay Discovery Center in Green Bay for the past about 12 years now. I started as soon as I retired, and I love it. It's a great place to be. If you haven't been there, please go visit. It's wonderful. But I also felt I need a little bit more. I was approached by the town when our supervisor, one of our supervisors, retired and moved out of the town. So they needed an interim supervisor for about 8 months or so. So I took the job. I was told, oh, it's really easy. It's fine. You'll be fine. It's not easy. But I did run for the office, and I have just completed a 6-year term, so I am running for a 2nd term. I am just thrilled to work with Mel and Connie, the other 2 supervisors, who have a lot more experience than I do. And they are wonderful. And of course, Deb and her team in the office have taught me a ton. And there's still a ton to learn because everything keeps changing. So just when you think you know it, you don't. But between all of them, I have so many years of dedication and knowledge, and they're just such great mentors. And so I just am re-upping, hopefully. And the experience I've gained, I think, is going to be a real asset, because our elections, quite frankly, are not easy anymore. And they're very busy. I cut my teeth on COVID years, which was very interesting. We've also had elections where we've had over 200, I believe at one, we had 300 people who registered the day of the election to vote. That was pretty hairy, but we got through it and we got it done. And I just think that that continuity at this point is pretty important. There have been a lot of changes in laws and forms and regulations and rules, and so there's a lot to go over, and hopefully that we all can pull together and get it done again. I think we've done a good job. I'm very proud of what we've done for our elections. We are fortunate in Stratham that our voters are kind, they are thankful, they are respectful. We have not had problems, and we can be very proud of ourselves as a community for that. I think it's really important. So I appreciate this opportunity to speak before you tonight, and I hope for your vote. Thank you.
Last but not least.
No. Town queen.
So I believe everybody probably knows who I am. Deborah Bankley, I'm the town clerk and tax collector for the town of Stratham, New Hampshire. A little bit about my background. I am a retired 27-year Coast Guard active duty service member. Thank you. My background was in personal admin and leadership. I'm all about great leadership. If you've ever been in a position where it wasn't so great, you haven't worked for me. In all seriousness, though, I feel very blessed and thankful that I have the staff that I have and the administration that we have in the town, from the select board to the town administrator, throughout all the department heads. It's been a great opportunity and a great town to work in. I've lived in Stratham, been a resident of Stratham since 1999. I grew up in Kingston, New Hampshire. So I am a relative of the Daniel J. Bakey School in Kingston. So that was a great, great uncle of mine. I feel blessed to work for the town. And from my election workers and my supervisors of the checklist, elections are no joke. They really are not. My position, you have to be on your toes all the time and know what you're doing and where to find the answer to be a success, have a successful team. And I think everybody that has visited the office has had, I hope you've all had a good experience. I haven't heard that you've not, but, and I know I'm under 3 minutes, but that's all I've got. So, thank you. And I look forward to serving another 3 years.
Thank you, Deb. We had to make anything for Mickey, Paul. I saw you out there. No, no worries. I don't want to miss anybody or leave any stones unturned.
Sure.
At this point, House, we have an opportunity, if you'd like to ask questions of any of our candidates about the offices that they are serving in or would like to serve in, or where they're coming from, or where they're going.
Kathy?
Uh-oh.
I know the paperwork says you're running for 3 years. I just want to confirm that you're really running for the full 6-year term.
It is a
And you're-
6-year term.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want
a
you
typo.
cutting out halfway through. Just checking.
Yeah, my question for the supervisors is, when does it change from a term to a sentence?
Yeah,
And
just
somewhere in there between 3 and 6.
You're
looking for questions?
Yes.
Boy, yeah, this is a good time.
You got an addendum?
Deb, I was just going to ask, how long have you been the town clerk?
So I retired from the Coast Guard in 2016, and in October of 2016, in November of 2016, I became the deputy town clerk.
Okay.
And then in 2021, when Joyce Charbonneau, the former town clerk, retired, I became the town clerk. I ran for a 1-year stint because I had to finish up her term, and then 3-year, and now another 3-year.
Okay. Thank you.
Sophie?
I'll ask a question. Why not? What are your priorities in your particular roles?
My priorities are to have a smooth election, And happy taxpayers. Those are my priorities. So if any of you can help me get there, I'd be forever grateful.
We're working on it.
Can you give us tax cuts?
Thanks, Sophie. I will freely admit that I have a ton to learn. I'm not a political beast. I've never really run in politics before. This is my first official sort of thing. So I know I have a lot to learn. Well, what I have learned over the 3 years that I worked on the Budget Advisory Committee is that we do face some challenges. And my hope is that I could assist select board members Anderson and Knapp to kind of navigate some of that, maybe come up with some novel answers here and there, I don't know, some novel solutions perhaps. We do face some big challenges, and I hope I can just make a contribution toward achieving some semblance of success in resolving some of them.
From a library perspective, I think one of my personal goals is to get closer to the staff, to get closer to the residents, who actually uses the library. And some recent conversations we've had is, how do we reach out to people who aren't using the library, and why are they not using the library? So I think a personal goal of mine is to understand, how do we pull more people in, and then for the folks that are coming in, how do we keep them? And the town of Stratham, as much as, I've been here for 28 years, as much as it has stayed the same in such a great positive way, which is why my 18-month commitment to move here turned into 28 years. There has been changes. We have a lot of new people coming in. We have a lot of folks that have built their families here. So how do we address those changing needs for our residents? So I think it's getting closer to staff to understand what they're hearing, and then also getting closer to our residents that don't use the library and why. Are there services that we can provide?
And I have to piggyback on what Deb said, that I too, along with Connie and Mel, are hopeful that we will have a very smooth, very well-run election, and that people will get in and out quickly, and there won't be any glitches. But beyond that, there's also a lot to do as far as maintaining our checklist to be sure that it is as up-to-date as it can possibly be. And for that, we do reach out to the community also. It's important that you let us know what's going on. If you have moved, if you have changed your name, if you've changed your party, it's up to you to come to us and let us know that. We cannot just change things on somebody's hearsay on hearsay, but we will certainly delve into things, look into things, give the forms to you that you need to make corrections, so that we have a checklist that is pristine. That's our goal, is the best that we can do for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Sir?
I have a controversial question. Are you aware of any possible election changes that may be coming down the line that will come up because of the national scene?
What was the last part of that?
What I'm asking is if you...
Because of what's going on right now?
Yes.
No, I'm not. And I actually serve on the executive board committee for the New Hampshire Town Clerks Association. So once a month, I do go to Concord and meet with the Secretary of State's office, the Department of Motor Vehicles, Vital Records, elections. And we're usually like first in the loop if something's getting ready to change. But as of right now, we have not heard anything different. Just make sure you bring your ID when you
I was
go.
going to say, but there have been changes. Yeah. They're already here.
Roger.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned Concord, so I'll bring Concord up. I'm astounded at the challenges that the school board faces and the town faces because of the recalcitrance of our leadership in New Hampshire. They are doing everything they can not to pay the state aid for education. So how, I guess this is for Ted, how would you work with members of the school board to make sure that people are aware of the state's responsibilities and what the town and the schools miss because the state is not owning up to its responsibilities.
Roger, you're asking a couple of different questions. Okay, the first question you're asking is, how can we be sure that the citizens of this town are aware? And that's a tough one. Before Kim arrived, I spent a lot of time with David Moore, and one of the things we talked about a lot is how do we increase civic engagement? How do we let people know? And how do we get them involved? That's a tough one, it really is. There's a lot of ways you can do it. Some better than others, but it's a tough thing. So that's the first thing. It's hard, but we need to get people involved. They need to understand the ramifications of decisions that are made in Concord and how they affect us here. That's part of it. In terms of working with the school board, from what I've been able to learn thus far, although there are two separate governing agencies, they do need to be somewhat aware of one another, need to work together in some ways. I don't know exactly what the legal requirements are, but I do hope that there are ways that the school board and the select board can find ways to work together on some of these issues. I'm sure Joe probably knows this better than I do, but I'm sure there are ways that we can do that, but that we do have to be mindful of the fact that the school board is an independent agency, it's an independent body. The select board doesn't dictate one way or the other, and vice versa.
No, you're two voices.
Yeah, it's two voices. Whether we speak with one voice or not, the important thing is when it comes to questions about funding education, I think we all have to agree that that's a priority for our town. It's probably a priority for every town, I guess. But it's a priority, and we have to figure out ways to make our leadership in Concord aware of this, and we have to figure out ways to, frankly, let them know that there are consequences if they don't listen to what the towns are saying. That's a hard one, but I hope we can achieve something. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Roger. Next question. Have you got a question?
No, but he's thinking that the next question is for me.
I'm taking bets up here.
If there are no other questions, thank you, candidates, and thank you. I think we're ready to transition to part 3.
That's right.
And I just, before I walk away, I want to thank Steve, the library, and the library directors and board for putting together a nice program.
Let's thank our moderator. So Tim and Vanessa are going to come up, our town administrator and director of planning and buildings, I think is what I saw as the official title, to walk us through their remarks on the budget. And
Vanessa's first.
Vanessa's first, sorry. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you. Good evening. I am not part of the budget process, so okay. Once again, my name is Vanessa. I am the director of planning and building. And this year we worked, the planning board and I worked on some zoning amendment changes that you will see here. I'm not used to it. So we did work on 7 amendments that were being proposed. The first one, a lot of them are cleanup of our zoning amendments. And what that means too is when people look to the zoning ordinance, how can we better define things or make it more clear for our residents as well as developers. So the first one is, when you'll see it on the ballot, it refers to Article 2, but it's actually your zoning amendment number 1. And this one is for the Route 33 Legacy Highway Heritage District. It's substantially amending this historical zoning district. It has 2 purposes. It's a housekeeping amendment to better define the zoning district and also to clarify expectations of the district by showing more dimensional requirements for new developments. The second one, or Article 3, is more of a housekeeping as well as update and clarify existing language requirements for new lots. And referring to our table dimension requirements, now right here, you won't see it, there is a packet over there too that shows all of the information on it. Just to make it more clear and defined of what is required for all lots for new development. Article 4, zoning amendment number 3, is solar energy requirements in the Route 33 Legacy Highway Heritage District. This is also a housekeeping amendment, once again, but it adds to our solar energy system sections showing the Route 33 Legacy Highway Heritage District, what is allowed, what is not permitted, and what is permitted by conditional use permit. So Article 5, zoning amendment 4, is a technical review committee. I've been with the town since May of last year, and coming up here, I know there was talk about better communication. This is one way that, at least in the realm of new projects or bigger projects that are going on in the town, is to have a technical review committee. You may say, what does that mean? It includes myself, our building inspector, code enforcement, could be conservation commission, our fire chief, our police chief. Sure, I might be missing some other folks, but they all come together with the applicant or the developer in large projects. It's also considered a public meeting, so the public is welcome to attend to listen to the projects. Can't comment at that time, but it's just get an idea of what is happening in the town. Number 6, zoning amendment number 5. We re-looked at a residential open space cluster development and seeing what's working, what is not working for us. The purpose of the articles to reinforce our development regulations, better protect natural resources, encouraging homes to be clustered in smaller lots. That was the idea of the original one as well, and so the planning board took a real hard look with recent developments of how to make it better and how to better preserve and conserve our land. Article 7, zoning number 6, definitions update. A lot of these just help staff in general, as well as working with developers to better define what things are. I know it might seem kind of intuitive on some things, but also the state has get better definitions for accessory dwelling units and what lot coverage. What else are we doing? We're doing non-buildable areas, principal use, what a historic structure is. And the last one is also a housekeeping clause, just making technical corrections when necessary, and that's part of the zoning amendment. We can't make any corrections. If there's a period out of place or a word in that grammatical error, this allows for us to do that. And with that is all I have to present. And do I ask for questions, or do I wait? I don't know what the protocol is. I'm sorry. It's the first time here this year. Okay. I'm getting the moderator heads up if anybody has any questions for me. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I hate to clue you, but I don't understand any of it.
That's okay.
The guy who used to be in the planning board picked through and said, okay, here's layman language. This is what it really means. And so Article 1, let's start with Article 1. So, I mean, what does it mean?
So zoning
In
amendment.
layman's language.
Okay, I will try my best.
Quick in layman language.
Quick and layman. Okay, so this for the Route 33 Legacy Highway Heritage District. Big mouthful, right? This was established a few years ago as more of a historical area to keep our historical character and development. Kind of the big overhaul for the first one, as we've seen from some recent development. The changes to this will better firm up what is allowed and what is not allowed as far as density. There was previously no density requirement necessarily as far as housing.
Where is that district?
I'm sorry?
Where is that district?
That district, it is, I want Can I pull up a map? No? Okay. There is a zoning map online, but it is on the areas. Give me one moment. It's along the Portsmouth Avenue and Route 33 corridor area. It's a smaller section of town. It fronts along Route 33 from Center District to Greenland Town Line, as shown on, well, I don't have a map to show you, but on our map.
So from Winnicott Road to Greenland Line? No. Before Winnicott, the circle.
Yes.
Okay.
What branches off of 108 out to there?
All right, yeah, wow, circle. Okay, well, that's that. Okay, we got that?
Okay.
Yep.
Give it that question number 2. I'm sorry?
We're on Article 2.
Would you like me to go through all of them? I didn't realize that was, you want me to go through mine.
Article 2 is the first one.
So Article 3. Article 3.
Article 3.
What is being planned?
I'm sorry?
What is being planned for that area?
For the heritage area?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? So that area is wanting to keep the historical character of the area, and the revisions that are being done to the zoning allows for better development, gives you a better idea of what, like the housing size and density size. That's what the changes are.
Well, in that area, there isn't a lot of room for development.
So the Legacy Farm where the goats are, there's a sign saying house is coming.
Yes.
So what's going in back there and how much land is there?
Back there is going to be a total of 5 new homes.
And how many acres is there?
I think it's about 3.5, 4. So from, this is an example of, not unfortunately, but for this project, there was a lot of, I don't know what the right word is, discussion about how did that development come to be. Yeah. That development, per our regulations, the developer was allowed to do, I don't know if allowed is the right word, but his development met within our regulations. They went through the planning board exercise, and people were like, well, how could this happen? What happened? Like, this is not what we foresee in this area. It was supposed to be different. So, and that kind of goes back to someone buys a property, they can do kind of what they want, but was the task kind of to the planning board is how can we improve development? So with these changes, something like Legacy Lane shouldn't happen again.
Okay.
Because of this change.
So that's our Article 3 will modify the zoning.
The Article 2 Amendment number 1. Zoning Amendment number 1. So I know there was questions about that. There is another project that's potentially in the works, could have that similar, but that was the big reason for this push for the density, because it was whatever the DES could handle as well, versus there was no lot size identified for homes. So it's a condo homeowner type situation for homes.
Do these changes only apply to new construction, or are there any amendments that would apply to current homes? I'm thinking in particular, just as a farmer, like there are a lot of things that kind of get slipped through that unintentionally make it harder for us to farm. So I'm just wondering if you know of anything in there that would potentially restrict farms, or if it is just for new construction, or do any changes apply to current use?
For that, no, it doesn't touch like current use or anything like that. As far as farming, the only thing I can, not for that use at all. It's not changing any of the uses for the area. It's for, the majority of it is for new development. There is a residential and accessory structures must not exceed 3,000 square feet. And the blending that was one thing that the planning board discussed is if you're going to like rebuild your home, they wanted to pose limits on like residential sizes. Yes, ma'am.
So we had passed a rule a long time ago that it was 2 acre minimum. Build a house, 2 acre minimum. Well, that's kind of been shot to death because there's more cluster housing, and then the cluster housing, the minimum stuff gets the minimum green space is minimum and minimum and minimum. So now here we are, you said there's maybe 3 acres, you're gonna put 5 houses on this.
So this zoning district, when it was established, had no minimum acreage.
What about, okay.
So when it was created a few years ago, that was not, I guess, thought of, or I don't know how to explain how that came to be, got missed, but there was no minimum lot size for like 2 acres to have a house. This is now correcting that, but they're, like the 217 went under those regulations that there wasn't.
But so if you vote for this or for against this, it doesn't make any difference about that.
About 217?
Goat farm that's gonna have that houses.
Unless the developer decides not to develop it. Correct, they have an approved site plan.
That's been already approved?
Yes. Because they fell under the old regulations.
Okay, I'm good. Okay.
Vanessa, the red house is staying, right, at the goat farm?
The red house and the barn are staying, well, not the barn, I'm sorry, like the consider a garage or the gift shop. So if anybody sees anything, also let us know because it's supposed to be safe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Just one question. On the amendment for the cluster?
Yes.
Could you maybe just touch on that? Is that doing away with some of those building types or how they're structured, or?
Yes, that is correct. So in that,
Which article?
I'm sorry, this is article number 6. Let's see, go back up here. Amendment number 5. We're adding a, let's see, so we're going, major part of it was to, there was some confusion about the array housing and how it's defined currently in the zoning ordinance. That type of housing, I don't know why they refer to that, because that's the type of housing that doesn't really exist. There was some talk about how do we make this better? Is it like discussion of tiny houses? That's not really what this was envisioned for this chapter. There may be other more appropriate places in town for that. So that housing type is decided to go away, as well as multifamily units. So what they envision is keeping single family duplexes in there. And they also to like strengthen the regulations on their yield plan to show like what can actually be built under conventional subdivision is not necessarily what should be built under a this type of development for the open space cluster subdivision. Just because you can get 48 units traditional doesn't mean that you'll get that many units for this. So this is also a lot of the I would say corrections or revisions to this zoning articles in reference to also an additional project I've gone through that the planning board had recently conditionally approved.
Thank you.
Did you say that the planning board recently approved?
Conditionally approved?
Oh, okay. So, pardon me, is there a development plan of this type? Question?
Recently, there's 80 and 80R Winnicott Road. There is a subdivision that's planned going behind there.
Okay.
That was conditionally approved by the planning board. Yes.
Yeah, just on Article 6, I'm looking at 8.3, the objectives. Number D is crossed out. You know, I think the Stratham S is a legacy of former Conservation Commission member Carol and colleague Caroline Robinson. Stratham S, I think, is an internal green area, internal in Stratham. It may, because of that recent subdivision, perhaps that Stratham S is no longer possible, but we've added to promote the preservation of large blocks or corridors. What is a large block?
So there's not a definition for large block, as you probably have to see. As a site note, we've been working in our department for an open space and connectivity plan. So it's like it could be a large block of corridor, it could be several acres, or it's not defined in space necessarily. It could be of importance, perhaps, of natural resources.
So the planning board would take into consideration species of greatest conservation need from the Wildlife Action Plan, independent of the Conservation Commission, or would they need the Conservation Commission to bring those points to the planning board? How does the planning board use the Wildlife Action Plan in its decision making?
So each case is different. In this one, I know that there was commentary made by the Conservation Commission about the wildlife corridors and that sort of thing. So the Conservation Commission is advisory to the planning board. So they do give them their notes, and the board has to take that in consideration, or may take it into consideration. Yeah, I know it's not necessarily a clear answer.
I have a
Yes,
question. Has everybody looked into the fact that you want to go along with all this development and so forth? Have you looked into the effect that it's going to have on the budgets for the future years? Because you add more people to this town, you're going to add more students, whatever. All the services are going to be affected. How much can this town afford to spend on all these projects? I'm a senior citizen, and we only get so much money. So where is it end?
I hear you, and I thank you for your comment. I wish I could have an answer for you.
But you're part of the planning board. Have you ever brought this stuff up?
Yes, we have.
It seems though the developers are getting more say in this town than the people that live in the town.
I would encourage you all to come to a planning board meeting as well. We have discussed it, what avenues we could do. But the board has not moved forward with any of those actions at this time.
I've been to a few of them on other projects, and the same thing happens. The developer gets whatever he wants.
We're always looking for volunteers on our board too. Oh, I'm just saying, like, new perspectives too. You know, I mean, it helps. Yes, sir.
For that reason of, I guess, overpopulation, doesn't the planning board or the town have limits, permit limits on building?
Per year?
Per year. So it's per year.
They used to.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Really? They used to. You gotta find that out. Check into that.
I think it existed, it may currently still exist, but there has to be triggers in order to have monitoring.
That's what that was my understanding. Certain parameters had to be met to trigger that.
And there were a number of them, like percentage of budget, number of enrolled students, just to name a few off the top of the head. So if you don't trigger those, then you can't move the building permits. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roach. I'm your new town administrator. I had the fortune of diving into budget season in October. Right in the middle of it. Fun time for that. I'm really glad to be at this point where we're nearing the end of this season. So what I'm going to do tonight is walk you through the warrant articles that you'll see at town meeting on the 14th. And that starts with the budget. So that's a good place to start, I bet, right? So I'm going to keep this light. You can fire questions at me, as we go. If you'd like, keep it conversational. I'm here to inform, entertain, be heckled, catch tomatoes, whatever I need to do, we'll get it done. But, and I appreciate the concern and the questions that a lot of you are showing up. So the budget, $9 million, just over $9 million this year. That's a 3.75% increase. It's right in target with the average increase over the last 10 or so years. I will say the select board does a really good job at trying to reel things in, and Ted's work on the budget advisory committee. We had 3 nights of public input and work with the budget advisory committee to make sure that we were being fiscally responsible and doing everything we can. But this budget, as it's presented, gives you the revenues to meet the expenses to run the government and keep the same level of service with the town, your fire department, your police, your DPW, all those things that you rely on, trash pickup, it's all in here within this budget. Some of the highlights, like I said, it reflects full staffing across all the departments. It actually gets us a 13th police officer, which is something that the police would like to have. And we're actually advertising and hiring for that as soon as this budget passes. Maintains the fire department staffing and also helps with our Parks and Rec to give us a little bit more team programming. We have a great senior programming effort here, if you don't know. Working on the teen side as well for, a lot of the folks on the school board talked about their young kids in town. It's a good opportunity to sort of meet the other end of our demographic with some of the programming that we have. All right, there we go. So what does that mean, that $9 million? It's an estimated tax rate from the town side of about $2.20. That's a 2.7% increase over the current rate. Again, that's, the select board, I'll give them credit. They've been very adamant about not exceeding a 3% increase year over year. And so far, we've been able to do that through the work of the Budget Advisory Committee and the board. Obviously, that's just the town portion. The overall tax rate has the school component. I haven't had the time to calculate that to figure out what percentages are. So in the past, it's been about 16% has been the town, so 16 cents of your dollar has been the town portion. It's probably in the same ballpark, I just haven't done the math yet. Next article, capital improvement program. So this is a tool. The goal with the capital improvement program is to help stabilize your property tax rates by scheduling out the major investments expenditures that we need to meet over the next 5 or 6 years to avoid any of those spikes, like that sudden need to purchase something. So we try to plan them out ahead of time and fund those year by year. So this particular year, we focus on, it's programmed out for 6 years. We focus on the current year for this vote and for this town meeting. We have these categories that I'm showing on the slide. We're programming $666,000. That's down a little over 9% from the previous year. A lot of it is townwide technology. There's a lot of server upgrades that need to be made. We'd like to get us moved to a more cloud-based computing here to make us a little more efficient in the office. The police department needs some server upgrades, and they're bought for their body cams. That information needs to be stored on a server in their building, and that's part of this year's capital improvement. We have renovations here to this building. If you go down there and you look at the bathrooms, they are not handicap accessible. They're not designed for adults. They're actually designed for children. So to use this space and have that facility meet the needs of the people, that is in there that needs to be done. We have LED lighting that needs to be, or that's going to be upgraded in here to save money on electricity. PFAS, our area around the fire station. We spend about $175,000 a year monitoring and mitigating the impacts of that PFAS plume that seems to be emanating from the fire station. That's in the capital improvement program. That's going to go on ad nauseum until we address the water situation or it dilutes itself out. So that's something that we just try to keep that in this program to make sure we're putting the money out there that needs to be done. And then the rest of this, the roads are a big part of the capital improvement program, our paving program, our crack sealing, and then Stratham Hill Park, maintaining the structures there and making investments into the park. I think most people agree that it's sort of the crown jewel of Stratham and something that people take a lot of pride in. Feel free to fire away, like I said, if you have some questions. So moving on, Warrant Article 11 is the Capital Reserve Fund. Similar to the capital improvement program, this is a little bit longer term. This is where we take a strategic look at those big ticket items, the fire trucks, big pieces of equipment for DPW, and also for the groundskeeping in the parks and things. This year, we are proposing to allocate $150,000 to the fire department capital reserve, $150,000 to the highway, $100,000 to town buildings and grounds. There is nothing going into conservation or heritage this year. Those already have a pretty high balance with no projected expenditures, so they're being left as they are. Purchases this year, the ambulances need 2 new defibrillators. Those will, I understand they cost about $65,000 or $70,000 a piece. Important equipment, so we want to make sure we have it. Firefighter gear is a perennial thing that we need to keep on top of because, one, it expires. I did not know that in October when I started, but apparently it does. So we need to make sure that our firefighters have the safe gear that's up to date and enough for everybody, which is also a challenge. On the highway side, we've had one of the plows, one of the plow trucks that we have age out and ultimately fail on us just recently. So we need to purchase we're looking at a 1-ton Dodge Ram truck with a plow and sander. It's actually going to be a smaller truck than what is aging out. The idea being that those smaller trucks are more useful year-round to us than those big yellow 6 and 10 wheel trucks that we have. So we're starting to mix the fleet a little bit to have a little bit of both. We also have to get a maintenance pickup truck. So we have a maintenance lead who does all the maintenance on the buildings, does not have a vehicle right now to access the places around town that he needs to get to. And then the other part that we're spending on this year is related to mowers and landscape equipment for the parks and the rest of our facilities. All right, Warrant Article 12. This is the EMS, Emergency Medical Services. It's a special revenue fund. We're authorized under RSA 3195 to create a non-lapsing fund, which already exists, where the revenues from fee-generating services can be put and then used to pay for that service. Ambulance rides cost money. They cost the person who gets picked up money, and the insurance pays this, and we take those dollars into this fund, and those dollars are then used to make sure that the ambulances and the staff are supplied, they're trained, all the equipment is up to grade, and then when the time comes, if a new ambulance needs to be purchased, we have a reserve in place to help do that. Again, a tool to offset spikes in the tax rate or costs to you as a resident. All right. Warrant Article 13. This is something that was added this year. This is a separate article from the standard ones. The fire department and police department have keyless access. It's typical of secure facilities like that to have a, you see everybody pull out their key fob, they hit the buzzer on the door, lets them in. It's essentially necessary in places like police and fire departments to have that. Both of those systems are in need of replacement. So what's been proposed is to replace those systems and then also look at installing similar systems here and at DPW, so at the municipal center and the DPW. So all of the town will be on a keyless access system. There's a few reasons for that, other than economy of scale, that it's, if we're gonna hire a contractor, bring him in to do the 2 buildings, we could probably get a better deal on all of them. That's one thing, but there's a number of issues that are beneficial for, even to the municipal center, where if for whatever reason there was a public safety issue, we could shut the door or block it. We can instantly revoke the credentials of an individual that may be no longer desired to be in the building for whatever reason. We can know when people come and go. It's auditable. It gives us compliance risk. Like I said, it can either activate or deactivate issues or keys if they're lost or stolen. And the simple fact that we do need to upgrade those systems for the police and fire. Another side issue is I have a list in my office of about 35 keys that have been issued over the years, and we have no idea where they are. It just happens, I think, in time, and so we have a whole bunch of people floating around. So if anyone has a key, just leave it on the table for me, let me know. I make light of it, but and the chances of something happening in town hall, maybe not, but it's an issue that we don't have full control over the access to the building with those keys out there. All right, Warrant Article 14. I should have mentioned on the previous article on 13. This will be paid for out of fund balance, so it's funds that we already have. It's not new taxes to pay for this. That's an important clarification. We're not asking for more money for that system. This one, I'm asking for more money. The fire tower, you've been to the top of Stratham Hill, no doubt. In 2023, we had a structural assessment done of the fire tower. We learned, not great news, that there are a number of structural deficiencies. It's not falling down tomorrow or in the next few months or anything like that, but there are deficiencies. I have a few pictures on here that you can see where, just to highlight a few of them. But the structural assessment identified about $200,000 worth of work to bring it back to good condition. Some of the things that are going on with it, I'm showing the vault. That's the footing where the tower connects to the ground. It's holding it up. The connections are in bad shape. A couple of the footings are in bad shape, and then there's just gaps and cracks in places that need to be repaired. The recommendations included to fix all of those, then essentially sandblast it, recoat it, and bring it back to its restored condition. So the 2024 cost estimate was about $205,000. We've added some inflation to that I suspect it's going to be higher in 2026 or 7 before we get to this. So the warrant asked for $250,000 to fix and restore the fire tower. I got some questions. All right. I saw Sean first. I'm going to go there.
How many quotes did we get for that project?
So we got 2 when it was first dealt with in 2023. If this passes, we will put out an RFP for more quotes. Yeah.
Is the fire tower used for anything or just for?
Yeah, it's a good question. No, I mean, it's one of the few that are out there and wide open to the public. It's really unusual. But it's not, unless someone can correct me, I don't think we're using it for fire services, Dave.
Yes, we are.
Are we?
Communications.
There are
Oh.
Department of Safety antennas on the top.
The antennas, yes, but we
That'd be
don't.
one of my follow-up questions. Have they been asked to participate in the cost of this project?
They have not. No, Department of Safety has not. So I thought that the question, we're not sending anybody out there to look for forest fires anymore. That's not happening.
That's true.
But so to Paul's point, yeah, I forgot those communication items are up there. If you go up, you'll see them. And I'm sorry, in the blue.
No, that was my question. Same.
Okay. All right. All right, Warrant Article 15, the cemetery, funds for the cemetery lot. So what this article proposes to do is create a fund that collects the fees for cemetery lots, so that those fees can then be used for general cemetery maintenance. Up until recently, we only had the opportunity, or the only way we could work on the cemetery was through our general fund out of the town budget, or money that was budgeted specifically for that. That's because we had perpetual care lots. So when somebody purchased a plot for a cemetery space, the funds from that could only be used to care for that space. It couldn't be used for tree pruning or anything else. We changed away from that in 2023, where we now have right to inter, and the dollars and the funds collected from that can be placed into an expendable trust to then offset the costs of maintaining the cemetery. Again, this will then benefit residents by not using tax dollars for all of the cemetery maintenance. We can use the funds that are collected from the cost of purchasing that burial site. Those funds would be collected and then dealt with and administered through the trustees of the trust fund. So this is again, this is a potential cost savings item for your tax rate. Warrant Article 16. This has no financial impact whatsoever. As it turns out, if you drive out Route 33 Portsmouth Ave, past the park, head into the Greenland line, you'll see Blue Ridge Circle on your left. When they redid 101 and built the actual highway, Route 33 was renamed. It was moved as well in the 1960s. There was a portion of land that's still considered part of the state right-of-way. All this warrant does is discontinues that piece of right-of-way that was known as Route 101 in the 1960s. The reason we're doing this is that the abutters, that land should have been deeded over to them. So what we're doing is it's a multi-step process, but we're going to propose that we discontinue the right-of-way so that then that land and those abutters can work through a process to pick up that parcel. So for instance, this particular lot would have this chunk of land deeded over to it after town meeting. But the first step to make that possible is to discontinue the right-of-way. So it's really a housekeeping matter that's been around, I think, since 1961. I had to go through all of the town meeting notes in the 1960s to see and I found out we were going to build an airport in the 1960s. I am so glad I'm not up here saying, hey, how about an airport? Not even good. All right, and then one more. We're proposing under Warrant Article 17 to modify the optional tax credit for our veterans that are totally disabled. So in the past, those veterans were eligible for 2 credits, one of $4,000, one of $750. Legislation, I think it was House Bill 99, I'm not sure if it was last year or not, changed that so that the veterans could not claim both of those benefits. They can only claim one. What we're proposing to do to keep them whole is change the amount so that the one credit that they can get is the full $4,750. It seems like it should be a pretty easy vote for that. I think that's a good thing to do.
And then I think, other than that, all we have is, this will be up there on the town meeting. If anyone else has anything to add, we'll see. I'm going to go to this gentleman in blue first.
Can we go back to Article 12, the EMS?
Yeah.
Does, that has nothing to do with the paramedic situation we have with the, so where is that? Where are we at with that?
Plastow, Advanced Life Support, we
Yeah.
are still working with them. We just, in fact, approved to sign the new contract for the next year.
For 1 year?
Yeah,
Now,
1 year.
do the EMS, you have training in there for them, does that include training to become a paramedic?
Yes, I wish Jeff were here.
Because that was an issue, I think, at the town meeting last year. That was-
So Chief Denton has done an incredible job. I'm going to give him all the credit. He's done a great job bringing on paramedics. In fact, he could speak to this so much better than I could, but my understanding is that we have in Stratham right now some of the best trained paramedics around. So what that does for us is we don't have to pay Plastow unless they have to respond. So we have now really, we're paying them by the response. So if they call, there's a call and they're on their way, but our paramedics can get there and handle it, they turn around and they go back.
They have the equipment?
They have the equipment and they have the skill, which is the biggest part, is they have advanced life support in some of our...
So Plastow is a backup?
Essentially, yeah. It's redundancy, but it's important redundancy because oftentimes there's more than one call. Sean?
I have two clerical questions for you real quick. So Article 14, if I understood you correctly, was the money's already been raised, you're just having the voters vote to appropriate the sum, not to raise the sum.
It's to raise and appropriate, it should be.
Oh, it is raised and appropriate. I thought you had said earlier that you weren't
No.
asking for money on that one.
The Article 13 is from fund balance. 13
Oh,
is...
should I say 14? I'm sorry, I meant 13, because it does say raise and appropriate, when it should just say appropriate, right?
I think you still have to raise
It's
and
a term of
appropriate.
art, because it's now sitting in your general fund. It's been raised, but it's sat there and is not designated for any other use. So in order to resurrect it for a purpose, we have to raise and appropriate it. But
Even though
raising it from...
it's not coming out of your pocket this time. It already came out of your pocket last time.
I just thought that'd be easier for the voters on Tuesday to, more likely to vote for it in that way.
Well, we can definitely clarify that and make sure they
It says it
understand.
comes from an unassigned fund balance. It says it right in the paragraph.
I was just thinking if people are going through the ballot really quickly, they're going to probably just say, oh, raise and appropriate. The other clerical item I had was, at least on this sheet, maybe in Tuesday will be different. There's two 17s. There's no 15, so I would just fix that.
Is that in the voter guide?
It's in.
Yeah, right. So we'll get to that.
The
Thank you.
first one says 17, but it's in between 14 and
All right.
Secretary Watts is
We'll
16.
16. All right, thank you for that.
Going back to the EMS, is there 24-hour protection?
There is 24-hour protection. There's not always 24-hour protection at the Stratham Fire Department, but
That's
between
what I was
Plastow, yeah. But there is 24
So you
hours.
do need Plastow?
You can, in some days, if we don't have the staff. But that's one of the things I think in the long term that we're going to have to grapple with as a community. Roger.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anything in the CIP that is connected to the light at Bunker Hill Avenue? Nothing associated?
No, there's nothing for 2026 at all. But there will be, just since I have an audience here, the DOT will be here to speak to that project in April. Pay attention to the website for a date. Did you have a question?
I did, just on the EMS portion. I was always under the assumption that everything in town was more voluntary, but it sounds like there are full-time positions.
We have one full-time position at the fire department. Everything else is per diem.
Okay.
So it's not pure, the volunteer in the pure sense that they just show up and do their job. They are being compensated on a per diem basis.
Okay.
There's day staff, and then my husband is part of it. The night shift is volunteer.
Okay.
So, any other questions? Let me off easy, guys. Come on.
That concludes our evening. Thanks for coming out.
Good job.
State town meeting or the library.
We don't need it.
Grab a cookie.
Grab a cookie.